Okay, thank you all for coming. Thank you particularly to Sonia and to Jeffrey for organizing this event. The title of my presentation is Braggadocious, Père Ubu Goes to Washington. So I want to begin with the question that a lot of us have been asking since the election of Donald Trump, and that is, how did this happen? And a lot of people have been going back and looking at various precedents to explain this event and this events, I should say. And so one of them is Père Ubu. And so I want to be looking at the connections between Père Ubu and Donald Trump. Here we have Ubu, the play by Alfred Jarry, and this is the image, the drawing that Jarry himself did. It was first performed in Paris, in France in 1896. And you see here the particular style that Jarry is going for, where Ubu always has the protruding belly and the sort of circular, almost hypnotic circles to go around and focus your attention onto the belly. Here he also has his toilet bowl cleaner, which is his scepter. He rules by way of the toilet. Here are a couple other images of Ubu. This one is from the Almanac du Père Ubu, also by Jarry himself, and this one's from 1901. And you see Ubu here groping a woman. This is from a very famous performance in 1965, Jean-Christophe Évarty in Paris, and there you see another interpretation of it where you have the scepter, the toilet bowl cleaner. You also have these sort of grotesque gestures in clothing that he has. And we also have this one here, and there's been a lot of images that come out with playing on Père Ubu and Donald Trump. I did my initial job talk here on Ubu, so lots of friends and colleagues started sending me various interpretations of Donald Trump as Père Ubu. This is one of them. This is the Tin Roof Theater back in 2013, and you can see that the toilet bowl cleanser has been replaced by a golf club. We still have the same sort of grotesque gestures, and of course, the belly. And I think one of the things that Père Ubu captures quite nicely is through this quotation by W.B. Yeats, who sat in the audience for the initial performance here, and that is, "After us, the savage gods." Okay, and so I think it's important to, for those who don't know the play, to talk about the actual plot of the play. It is based very loosely on Shakespeare's Macbeth, and so Ubu rules in the court and is urged by his wife, La Mère Ubu, to kill the king and crown himself in his place. Ubu then proceeds to name his inept friends into all positions of power and to submit all who oppose him to La Trappe. And so you have this very classical comic scene, almost slapstick, in which there's literally a hole in the ground on the stage, and various people come before Ubu to ask him for various things, and he simply pushes each of them into this hole on the stage. Some are also submitted to the machine à décerveler, which is the debraining machine. Those in his entourage continuously struggle to correct and to attenuate all of his appalling deeds. He yields a toilet bowl cleaner for a scepter. He confiscates money and land to satisfy his whims, which grow increasingly grotesque, absurd, and vulgar. The amount of blood, sausage, and tripes the men eat is quite impressive. He mixes his personal finances with public coffers, and eventually, because he's eliminated everyone in his entourage, he has to go around and collect taxes himself. He insults all of his supporters, shaming them and humiliating them into submission. His wife, La Mère Ubu, grows increasingly concerned and tries to convince him to pass around at least a minimum amount of wealth. He refuses, saying, "J'ai un système, j'aurai vite fait fortune, alors je tuerai tout le monde et je m'en irai." So he will kill everyone and then simply go off on his own. Eventually, a small band organizes a revolt against him, and Ubu is forced to flee to Ukraine, where he gathers his army. On the battlefield, however, he turns out to be quite the coward and takes refuge in a cave and prays that the army will defeat his enemies for him. His soldiers desert him, and the play ends with Father and Mère Ubu in a boat, now essentially refugees, crossing the Mediterranean toward France, where Mère Ubu plots to become Maître des Finances, And finance is spelled this way here with the PH. The play on the physical side of it, and also the financials where they come together in this image of the belly. And so the play ends at that point, and the two embrace, and the choir begins to sing the song, Les chansons à décervelage, the degrading song. Okay, the most famous thing about the play, however, is the opening line, Merde. And there's been a lot of commentary on this particular linguistic form of attack, and Jerry himself conceived of this as an attack on the audience, which led to Antonin Artaud in the beginning of the avant-garde in France, and particularly with Peter Berger's definition of the avant-garde as assault on the status of art in bourgeois society. I want to go through a couple. I'm not the only one to make these comparisons between Trump and Père, so I want to go through a couple of them. The first here is the economist Frédéric Lordon, who is at the Centre National des Recherches Scientifiques, and he has been leading this blog for quite some time, La Pompe à Finance, with the PH here in finance, reference to Uburois. And here, pompe is both the pump, but also pomper is somewhat a juvenile word for to steal. And you see these references here to Charlot, ministre de la vérité. So once again, the comic has a mode to explain Donald Trump. Frédéric Lordon, as an economist, has tried to explain the neoliberal model that Trump represents from both the Foucauldian side as a crisis of liberal democracy and from the Marxist side as a crisis of capitalism. He is the founder of the appalled economists, to be distinguished from the applied economists, and has been an organizer for direct action in France in the lead up to their own elections. Here we have a couple of other instances of the comparison with Donald Trump and Père. This one, Didier Farsa, who's a professor at Princeton, and this image is great. It's taken from the Madame Tussauds. We have this wax image of Donald Trump, and you can see even in this one these sort of gestures to Père, where he has his hands on his belt and a protruding belly here. For Didier Farsa, it's really a question of the grotesque, as it's both comic but also tragic comic in the tradition of Gargantuan and Bakhtin's reading of Rabelais. On this side, and this is the one I will focus the most on, we have Al Foster, who analyzes Donald Trump within what he calls a regime of post-truth and post-shame. And the large question that he asks is how to adopt a president. He insists that in addition to looking at the negative aspects that attract people towards Trump, and that is the racism and the protectionism, the xenophobia and misogynism, all of which we cannot ignore, obviously, but also to take into account the positive identification that people have with Trump. And for this, he turns to Freud and the totem and taboo, and he says, what is thus awakened is the idea of a paramount and dangerous personality towards whom only a passive masochistic attitude is possible. And so the primal horde, in this case, instead of having the killing of the father and thus the institution of new law, that we have Donald Trump as the father who lords the law over all of the primal horde, and he is allowed to grope all of the women, and there's a certain positive identification of this authority and positive figure here. And now to the last these I want to look at is the term itself, braggadocious. And so this is a term that came out in the first presidential debate, and this is a quote from Trump himself. I have a tremendous income, and the reason I say that is not in a braggadocious way is because it's about time this country had somebody running it has an idea about money. And so the term braggadocious is not, in fact, a term invented by Trump himself. Merriam-Webster did come out after this debate and say this is a term that comes from the 19th century. But it is a malappropriation of the original word, which is braggadocio, which comes from Spenser's The Faerie Queen, and it's a knight Braggadocious is a character's name. He's someone who is masquerading as a knight, but in fact is entirely inept. And so I think you can see the sorts of parallels here. And so I want to end with, here we return to Père on his horse, or a sort of braggadocio figure himself, and what he calls this cheval de finance, with the play again on the finance. And the question that I think that brings out to us is the role of the comic, whether or not this is a subversive form of comedy, or whether in fact comedy is merely feeding the belly that is both Trump and Père. If we follow the Didier Fassin's line of argument, that it's a form of subversion, but I think with Père we have something else, and that's something else that he's captured in Père and also Donald Trump. If you look at Donald Trump in this fantastic quote from The Art of the Deal, in which he advises people to listen to your gut, no matter how good something sounds on paper. And so I think this is the lesson that Père gives to us. It is the feeding the gut may not be as subversive as we want it to, and may in fact simply be part of the art of the deal. Thank you.